What would you do if the man who told you you were sterile was secretly sleeping with your wife and had fathered the child you believed was yours? I never thought I'd be asking myself that question, let alone living it. The night everything broke was a Tuesday, 2 a.m., the glow of my phone screen illuminating a text message that wasn't meant for me. It was from Dr. Ethan Thorne to my wife Sarah. "Can't wait for our next consultation, my love. Our little secret is growing beautifully." My blood ran cold, a glacial dread seeping into my bones. Our little secret? It's the baby we'd been trying for? The one I'd been told I couldn't father? The world tilted on its axis. I knew with a sickening certainty that my life, as I knew it, was over. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. Sarah had been acting strangely for months. Distant, irritable, always on her phone, whispering into it in the other room. I dismissed it as stress from the fertility treatments, the emotional roller coaster we were on. We lived in a beautiful brownstone in Brooklyn, New York. A life I thought was perfect. Our dreams of a family, shattered by Dr. Thorne's diagnosis, had somehow been rekindled, or so I thought. He was the one who delivered the crushing news. My sperm count was too low, almost zero. He'd been so sympathetic, so professional, a wolf in a lab coat. The text was just the first crack in the dam. I started looking, really looking at Sarah. Her eyes, once full of warmth for me, now held a calculating glint. Her excuses for late nights, once plausible, now sounded hollow. "It's working late at the gallery," she'd say. But the art gallery on Green Street closed at 7 p.m. I found receipts for expensive dinners at places like Per Se. Far beyond our usual budget, always for two, not with me, not with her friends. The humiliation was a physical weight, pressing down on my chest. Every touch, every kiss, every shared laugh felt like a lie, a cruel mockery. She became colder, more manipulative. When I tried to talk, she'd turn it around, accusing me of being paranoid, of not trusting her. "You're just stressed about the baby, Mark," she'd coo, her voice dripping with false concern. "We're finally having our miracle, and you're ruining it with your suspicions." The baby, our miracle. The word tasted like ash in my mouth. Dr. Thorne, meanwhile, was a ghost in my periphery. I'd see his smug face on billboards for his fertility clinic, Thorne Reproductive Health, on Fifth Avenue. He seemed untouchable, a man of science, a pillar of the community. I'd played God with my life, my future, my very identity as a man. He'd stolen my wife, my child, and my dignity. All while looking me in the eye and offering false hope. I remember one night, sitting alone in our living room, the city lights of New York twinkling outside, feeling utterly broken. The pain was so profound it felt like a physical wound. I wanted to scream, to smash everything, but a quiet, cold resolve began to form. They thought they were untouchable. They thought I was a fool. They were wrong. My revenge wouldn't be loud or impulsive. It would be meticulous, surgical, just like Thorne's profession. I started gathering proof. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Frank. He was discreet, efficient. Within weeks, I had a dossier. Photos of Sarah and Thorne entering a luxury apartment building on Park Avenue. Late-night rendezvous at a secluded diner in Chelsea, even a video of them kissing passionately in a hotel parking garage near LaGuardia. The dates aligned perfectly with Sarah's late nights and Thorne's emergency calls. The most damning evidence came from a discreet DNA test I arranged. A sample from the baby's prenatal screening, obtained through a sympathetic nurse Frank knew, confirmed it. The child Sarah was carrying was not mine, it was Thorne's. The man who told me I was sterile had impregnated my wife. The irony was a bitter poison. With the proof in hand, I began setting my traps. I consulted with a sharp divorce attorney, Ms. Eleanor Vance, whose office overlooked the Chicago River. She specialized in high net worth, high conflict cases. We discussed alienation of affection, marital fraud, and medical malpractice. The legal framework was complex, but the evidence was undeniable. I also started subtly leaking information, not directly, but through carefully crafted anonymous tips to medical boards, to local news outlets, known for investigative journalism, and even to Thorne's professional rivals. I wanted the whispers to start, the seeds of doubt to be sown before the explosion. The public exposure was orchestrated with precision. It began with a seemingly innocuous article in a small online medical journal questioning Thorne's ethics. Then, a local news channel in Dallas picked up on a pattern of questionable conduct at his clinic, citing anonymous sources. The pressure mounted. Then came the day I filed for divorce. The papers were served to Sarah at the gallery in front of her colleagues and clients. The allegations of adultery, fraud, and the paternity of the child were laid bare. Simultaneously, a class action lawsuit was filed against Dr. Thorne, alleging medical negligence and unethical practices. Spearheaded by Ms. Vance, using my case as the prime example, the news exploded. Sarah's world crumbled. Her friends vanished. Her reputation as a sophisticated art dealer was shattered. The gallery, facing public backlash, let her go. She was ostracized. Her carefully constructed social facade collapsing around her, Dr. Thorne's fall was even more spectacular. The medical board launched a full investigation. His clinic was raided. Patients came forward with their own stories of misdiagnosis and suspicious circumstances. His smug confidence evaporated, replaced by a terrified, cornered animal. He lost his license, his practice, and faced multiple lawsuits. The man who had felt untouchable was now utterly ruined. I watched it all unfold from a distance, a quiet observer. The baby was born, and Sarah, stripped of everything, was left to raise Thorne's child alone, facing the scorn of a society that once admired her. I had my freedom, my dignity, and a chilling sense of justice. The silence in my Brooklyn brownstone was deafening now, but it was a clean silence, free from lies. He thought he could play God, but I taught him what it meant to be a devil. The end.